Nietzsche saw it coming. He warned that when men lose purpose, they don't become free, they become lost. And now here we are, number, distracted, chasing hits of dopamine, calling it progress, endlessly scrolling, consuming. But underneath it all, there's a silence, not peace, just emptiness. The modern man isn't weak by nature. He's just been untethered. No mission, no structure, no struggle. And without something to resist, he forgets how to rise. Nietzsche didn't write for the masses, he wrote for the few, for the man willing to face the collapse and rebuild himself anyway. This is Men of Power, not just a channel, a path for men who refuse to stay ordinary. Stay with us, because what you're about to hear isn't motivation, it's a wake-up call. Men were never just builders, warriors, or protectors. At their core, men were seekers of purpose, of legacy, of something greater than themselves. And Nietzsche saw what would happen when that pursuit disappeared. God is dead. God remains dead, and we have killed him. This wasn't about religion. It was a warning. A society without belief, without something above the individual, would collapse into confusion. Comfort would become king. Truth would be replaced by feelings. And men, once guided by discipline and purpose, would become consumers of distraction. Scroll, sleep, number, repeat. The modern man isn't starving for food, he's starving for meaning. The soul doesn't need comfort, it needs direction. And when that direction is gone, so is identity. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. But most men today don't have a why. They have content. They have goals with no vision, habits with no mission. Discipline without depth is just performance. That's why they burn out. That's why nothing feels fulfilling. That's why they collapse in silence. Man is a rope tied between beast and overman, a dangerous crossing. Nietzsche believed we are all becoming, but in today's world, most men never finish that crossing. They stop halfway, and they settle. That's the spiritual death he warned us about. Not fire, not chaos, just a quiet disappearance of strength, of belief, of soul. Nietzsche once wrote about a creature called the last man, a man who values safety above growth, comfort over struggle, agreement over truth. He doesn't build, he consumes. He doesn't fight, he scrolls. He mocks greatness because he's given up on achieving it himself. Sound familiar? The modern world is producing millions of these men, not out of malice, but out of design, disconnected from family, mocking tradition, distracted by endless novelty, addicted to dopamine, but starving for purpose. They feel the drift, but they can't name it. Nietzsche called it spiritual sickness, a slow dying of the soul, hidden by entertainment and artificial achievement. They are clever and know everything that has ever happened, so there is no end to their mockery. These men know everything, except how to live. They analyze, critique, argue online. But when asked to lead, to endure, to build, they disappear. And deep down, they know it. That's why so many feel anxious for no reason. Angry without target, empty in a world that never stops talking. They have no anchor, not to God, not to legacy, not to discipline, not even to themselves. And a man without an anchor can be moved by anything. That's not freedom, that's slavery in disguise. Nietzsche didn't pity these men. He warned about them, because when a man drifts long enough, he forgets what it felt like to stand. Nietzsche didn't just predict the collapse. He offered a way through it, not by fixing the world, but by forging yourself. He called it the path of the Übermensch, the overman. Not a superhero, not a saint, but a man who refuses to stay average. A man who doesn't follow trends or chase validation. He creates his own values, his own path, his own reasons to rise. The world says, be like us. He says, become who you are. Man is something that shall be overcome. That's the essence of Nietzsche's message. Self-overcoming, a constant war with your own weakness, your softness, your excuses, your fear, not once, but daily. Nietzsche didn't believe in comfort. He believed in fire. Because the man you want to become is already inside you, but he's buried under years of comfort, fear, and lies. You don't need permission. You need pressure. Pain sharpens. Struggle purifies. The weak man avoids it. The Übermensch uses it. He doesn't react. He creates. He doesn't cope. He climbs. He doesn't drift. He decides. Become who you are. That isn't a slogan. It's a demand. And if you're hearing it clearly right now, it's because you're ready to answer it. Nietzsche didn't write for the masses. He wrote for the few, the ones who feel the weight of the world but refuse to be crushed by it. The ones who are tired of drifting, tired of being numb, tired of being invisible. He didn't say the path would be easy. He said it would be necessary. One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. If you felt that chaos, that quiet, restless fire deep inside, you already know the truth. You're meant for more, not to fit in, not to stay silent, but to rise above what's been dragging you down and become the man you were always meant to be. That's why this channel exists, not to entertain, but to challenge, to confront you, to remind you of what you've buried. Strength, direction, discipline, the core of who you are and who you could be. So ask yourself, where are you falling short? Is it your body, your focus, your will? Be honest, drop it in the comments. This is Men of Power, not just a channel, a mindset, a movement, a mission for men who are done watching and ready to start becoming what the world no longer expects them to be. Thanks for watching.
These back roads I've been roam, trying to find my own way home. Long lost in this world so wide, searching for a place to lay my pride. Through the moonlit nights I've traveled far, underneath the shimmering stars, but the city lights just ain't my scene. I need the countryside where I can dream. I'm finding my way.